Salty Pork Chop says Cam Sutton beats his wife, gets 8 games. I don't get it. I think the biggest news, now we don't know everything. Cam Sutton suspended 8 weeks by the NFL for domestic violence arrest. According to Pittsburgh Steelers Now, Cam Sutton has been suspended 8 weeks by the NFL after his domestic violence arrest. Now, as you guys know, this issue really hinders upon whether or not the Lions are going to get $10.5 million back. You know, just to round it to 10.5. So we don't have a full answer, but if I understand the policy, right, that the Lions filed this under, and according to multiple sources, Cam Sutton is also filing a grievance against the Lions. Not sure if that's been filed yet. It's been a couple of weeks now since I reported on it. Haven't heard anything. Maybe he was waiting to see what the NFL was going to do. So these two kind of play off each other. But the way I understand the policy, if you violate this policy, I mean, what's done is done. The NFL needed to suspend him for that personal conduct policy to be violated, which then the Lions should have everything wrapped up in a nice little bow, and they should be able to get their money back. Now, I've seen crazy things happen in court myself, so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But according to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Sutton's been suspended for 8 games without pay. Now, that's a big one, without pay, by the NFL for violation of the team's personal conduct policy. The league announced this Monday, right around 5:10-ish. I was going to do a video right away, but then I was like, yeah, I'll just wait till 7 p.m. So Sutton was suspended for violating the domestic violence portion of the league's conduct policy. And when he was arrested for domestic assault earlier this offseason, Sutton was originally charged with a felony. And before, it was reduced to a misdemeanor. As you guys know, he was on the run. I mean, he was booking it wherever he was. I mean, it was kind of hilarious, but not really, that he was in Allen Park working out like the day after this alleged incident. And nobody was the wiser. That to me is just nuts. And it took a lot of guts by Cam Sutton to pull that off. But anyway, it was lowered to a misdemeanor. And at that point, he entered a pretrial diversion program that including admitting guilt. And the NFL independently investigated the allegations and confirmed that Sutton violated the league's policy. Sutton spent 3 weeks earlier this offseason wanted by police after he was alleged to have assaulted a woman in a home in the Lutz, Florida area on March 7th. And he was released by the Detroit Lions on March 21st, just a day later after being notified of the warrant for his arrest. Now, after 1 year of his $33 million contract, all of this comes to a head for the Lions. And it's been a big to-do, right? We want our team to stay, in good shape. Obviously, we want players that can play. Look, Sutton could have been a great corner. I don't think he was our number one. I don't think he ever would have been. Now, had we brought in Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw this year with Cam Sutton, yeah, maybe he could have played at a better rate. But you know what? We don't want guys like this on the team. And there's a reason for the culture and the identity that the Detroit Lions organization is putting together. And that's also why your Detroit Lions are one of the lowest, or how do I say that? They're one of the teams that has been the least arrested in like the last 20 some odd years. I think they have 19 arrests in like the last 20 some years. And they're really low on the list, like bottom 3 or 5 in the NFL. That's pretty solid, man. Like that's real solid work. I mean, I think that just preaches to what the Lions have always tried to be about, good characters. Then we've had some guys that done some stupid stuff. But it hasn't been crazy, to a certain degree. I mean, there's been some wild things that have happened, but pretty well-behaved team for the most part. Salty Pork Chop says, Cam Sutton beats his wife, gets 8 games. I don't get it. So betting on college football or basketball is just a little better than beating your spouse. NFL needs to get it together. Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. Like, Let me correct one thing. I don't think it was his wife, though. I think it was his child's mother. They might have been dating or whatever. I think they have a child in common, or she was. I hope she wasn't pregnant, but no, they have a child in common. There was a paternity issue going on between them. But either way, spouse, non-spouse, it was a female. Like, shouldn't happen. So I'm in total agreement. Yeah. So you can bet on football once and get suspended for a year, CJ Moore, Quintez Cephas, or you can go and smack somebody up and play the second half of the season. It doesn't make any sense. Now, I tried to go to bat for the NFL a few weeks ago when I was reporting on some of this stuff, and I said that they've been doing a much better job at promoting, domestic violence is bad. Like, don't do it. They had some harsher punishments, over the last decade. I mean, it was kind of ever since the Ray Rice incident. There was a couple of other ones, but they really started to crack down. And for those reasons, I thought that they were doing a much better job. We were seeing a lot less incidents in the NFL. And overall, I think we've seen a lot less incidents in the NFL. There's been a rash of things this year. But this it boggles your mind, doesn't it? Like, I can gamble and be suspended indefinitely, or I can go slap up my wife and I can play. It doesn't make any sense. It's backwards. So NFL, you need to continue to do better.
Adam Schefter at ESPN says there's 275,000 people.
Well, that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people shattering the NFL draft attendance record.
This is the future.
All grit.
Evolution. This is the future.
All grit.